What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Crimo. This is episode number 22, and as we look at the calendar, we will see off the month of November in this episode, playing Liverpool, Burnley and Leeds. We currently sit 5th in the Premier League table after 6 wins on the bounce and 8 unbeaten. Really good run of form we've been on recently. We've won 8 in a row in all competitions, which has seen us get to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, where we'll face Everton. You'll see that game in a couple episodes' time. Sean Dyche's men been the other surprise package of the Premier League so far, sitting 1 point and 1 place above us in 4th, so that game won't be as much as a banker as we thought initially when we saw the draw. But heading into this game, you would have seen there Taiwo, league top scorer, 10 goals in 11 for the Nigerian. He's been on fire. But this would be a real test for us, you know. Obviously, we've won 6 in a row, but they're against lesser teams, I want to say, obviously, without any offence to those teams. Liverpool beat us home and away last season, scoring 4 goals in both those games. And so this would be a real test to see how much we have improved as a club, to see if we can compete against Liverpool, who are themselves in the top 4. There would be one change to the side that thumped Sheffield United at the end of last episode. Vega went off injured in that game and is done for 3 months, so in comes Gibbs White to replace him. Obviously, it's annoying that Vega's out for 3 months, but the injury rate and severity is up for the realism, as you guys know, so you know, it's part and parcel of the career mode, and I don't mind it at all. Liverpool with that familiar front three of Salah, Jota and Diaz. Salah has scored a brace in both of the league games against us last season, and as you saw, he would score very early on, capitalising on a Ben Brereton. Diaz, he gave the ball away, and Liverpool punished us. We saw in a couple games over the last couple episodes where we gave the ball away, particularly in that Wolves game at home, where we gave the ball away and we weren't punished, and they were against, like we said, a team not in form. Liverpool, a team very hot in form, will punish you if you make mistakes. Liverpool would run away with this game. You know, they would end up winning 4-0. A very kind scoreline, I would say, on their behalf. It was almost a mirror image of this fixture last season. We played Liverpool. I think it was 2-1 till very late on, and then they scored twice in the last 10 minutes to really rubber stamp the result. And as you see here, Diaz and Goretzka both score in the last 5 minutes to make it a 4-0 game. Not really a 4-0. I don't think the scoreline reflected the game at all. But ultimately, you know, they turned it on when it mattered, and they were very clinical against us. Salah getting 2. That's his 3rd brace in a row against us. You know, when you just get those players that just always score against you. Absolute nightmares. And yeah, Liverpool would batter us to end our winning run. Matty Cash would come to us and say, look, if I start getting more game time, boss, I might have to look elsewhere. Been a bit underwhelmed with Cash, I'll be honest. I've really enjoyed Nico Williams. He really suits that attacking fullback role position more than Cash, but we're going to give Cash some game time here in the second game of the episode. It's Burnley away. He is one of 3 changes. Lingard comes in as well, and Johnson in for his first appearance in just over a month after being injured in the Palace game. Lingard in for Gibbs White as well. Whilst Vega's injured, that second cam spot is open to anyone who wants to take it. We played Gibbs White in the last game. He wasn't really that impressive. Lingard will start this one. We'll see how he does. Vincent Kompany's Burnley, a very impressive side, playing really attractive football up in 15th actually after 12 games. So a pretty decent return from Kompany's men, 7 points above the drop zone, so they'll be pretty happy with how their Premier League campaign is going so far. I imagine in real life we'll be seeing them in the Premier League next season. Them and Sheffield United have dominated the Championship this year, and I'm excited to see how Kompany does in the Premier League with his side. Well, it looked like they weren't going to be able to handle us. We would put Burnley to the sword, especially in the first half. Absolutely running wild, scoring 4 times in the first period. Awoniyi grabbing the opener before Brennan Johnson scored. You know, so good to see him scoring and getting back on track. He was on such good form before he got injured, so nice to see him on the score sheet. Lingard assisted that second goal and then scored the third. A nice finish from distance before Perot and Sayankov would link up before finding Johnson, who would get his second of the game. And then in the second half, Brennan would get the hat-trick. Absolutely love it. On his return to the Premier League football after a month, Brennan gets a hat-trick. What a fixture for him to come back into. We would run the Clarets for 6. A Brennan Johnson hat-trick. Perot went close as well with a great effort. Gibbs White getting in on the scoring as well. And we would bounce back from that Liverpool defeat in style. That obviously was our third game against the newly promoted sides, all away, by the way. Watford, Sheffield United, and now Burnley, and I think we scored 17 goals against those three teams. So, yeah, the newly promoted sides, they felt very easy to attack, very open at the back, and their goalkeepers weren't that convincing. I can kind of see now why we conceded a lot of goals last season. As we look at the tables, Schick, the top scorer, he's got 12 and 14, but Awoniyi now is close behind. Got on the score sheet against Burnley. He's on 11 out of 13. Brennan Johnson up there as well, that hat-trick, 9 in 10. He actually probably has the best goals to game ratio, having played in a couple less games. Erling Haaland has the most assists, 8 in 13, but then a whole host of Forest players follow that. Awoniyi with 7, Freuler and Sayankov with 5, and Vega and Johnson with 4. Ederson leads the clean sheets. He has 8 out of 13, as City actually remain unbeaten so far this season. Henderson, 4 shutouts though, so I'm happy with that as we head into the third and final game of this episode. It's Leeds at home. 3 changes from the side that beat Burnley. Williams back in the starting lineup, whilst Omar Richards in the other fullback position would get a rare league appearance. Farmer also coming in for Freuler. Leeds currently 13th in the league with 16 points, so not doing too badly, the Yorkshire club. And if you remember, this fixture was the game last season where we finally secured our first clean sheet of the season. I think that was the 30th game of Varskin, so to have 4 at the 13 game mark is big improvement on our behalf. Well, there would be no clean sheet in this game. Harry Maguire, a rare error from the ex-Man United player down in the corner. Thuram robs him, squares it to Sinistera, who in turn squares it to Tyler Adams, and the American who scored against us at Ellen Road last season scores against us again to make it 1-1. And then Leeds would go on the attack and make it 2-1. Thuram, involved in the first goal, gets the second, and they would score twice in 3 minutes to turn this one around. After Taiwo had given us a lead 1-0 in the first half, Sayankov getting to the byline, kind of back to Taiwo to score his 12th of the season. He almost scored a replica goal of that just before half time. Sayankov went to the byline, kind of back to Awoniyi. His shot beats Melier, but it hits the post this time, post and out, as opposed to the first shot that went bar and in. Taiwo wouldn't be denied though in the second half, and he would get his second and his third to not only bring us level but to give us the lead, completing his hat-trick. And that's the third hat-trick we've scored in 4 games actually, after Brereton Diaz at Sheffield United and Johnson at Burnley. So the goals are flowing. Well, the goals are flowing in this game as well. Leeds would equalise. Thuram again, pretty much straight away. We didn't defend well in this game at all. The momentum was swinging like crazy, and you'll see it here. Tyler Adams gets his second of the game, his third against us in 3 games, and Leeds are 4-3 up. This game was crazy. The momentum was swinging. Both sides were just taking it in turns to dominate and score. It would be our turn to try and bring us level, and we would do so. Reece Nelson found in behind, and Taiwo converts for his 4th of the game, 15th of the season. Leeds looked like they were going to try and get the winner deep into injury time, but Niakate with a huge interception. We would go down the other end. Richards into Freuler. Freuler drives into the box, has so much space, he squares to Reece Nelson, and the substitute makes it a goal and an assist in the last few minutes of the game to turn this one around, and we win an absolutely crazy 9-goal thriller against Leeds. Yes, this may have been the game where we got our first clean sheet of the season last season in a 0-0 draw. Nothing of the sorts here. 9 goals at the City ground, 4 for this man Taiwo Awoniyi, and we would make it back-to-back wins and 11 goals in 2 games. But 4 conceded. I'm not too happy about the 4 conceded, but we won it, and I guess that's all that matters in the end. I don't really want to go back to conceding loads of goals like last season. Obviously, that's the second game this episode we've conceded 4 at home as well, but it is a win. It's back-to-back wins, and yeah, we move up to 5th now into a Europa League spot. We know the Europa League will probably stretch down to like 6th, and then 7th might be a Europa Conference League. position. Any sort of European football next season, I'm happy with, even though the board wants us to get Europa League specifically. So Europa Conference League, I think, would count as a failure in their eyes, but I would take that. But we're still only a third of the way into the season, so plenty of games to play. As we round off November, and now in the next episode we'll start the busy month of December. Loads of league games. We've got the Cup quarter final coming up as well before we head into January. Jensen Best gets signed up to the youth academy. He looks like an absolute baller. We put him up for loan straight away. Our youth prospects are really beginning to look promising now. But as we look at the table, 5th in the league with Nottingham Forest, 14 games gone. Very happy with how the season is going so far. But that will be it for today's episode. If you're enjoying the series, drop it a like, and I'll catch you in episode 23 very soon.